will be the one to usher us into the administration of Exchange Online with PowerShell, right? And I have here with me the trainer, which is going to be Flora, right? And for us that have met Flora before, Flora is an expert in Microsoft Exchange, like Martin has actually introduced to us earlier from now. And to go into the program,
so just take a cup of water or a bottle of water.
So guys, please join us while we drink this water before we go into the training. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, don't mind the tag that we don't have on the water.
Okay, so for today, we'll be looking into administering Exchange Online using PowerShell, like we said earlier. So the first thing we need to do is to ensure that we connect to Exchange Online. So normally, if you want to administer Exchange Online using the GUI, you will need to log in with your admin credentials to the Exchange Admin Center.
Yeah.
So for us to actually log into the Exchange Admin Center per se, using the Windows PowerShell, we will need to run PowerShell as an administrator, right?
Yeah.
And the very first thing we need to do is install the module.
Exchange
you don't have
Online
to
Management.
Exactly. We're going to install the Exchange Online Management module. So you don't have to do this all the time. You only run this command once.
Yeah.
So once you have the module installed in this computer, so you don't have to rerun this exact command in the same computer, except you're using a different PC. So I'm going to run this. In my own situation, I already had this installed.
Yeah.
But if you are running this for the very first time, you get a prompt that says that you should either type Y for yes or N for no.
Yeah.
So you would have to type Y, then press enter.
Okay.
So now that the module is installed successfully, we will need to then import the module so we can connect to Exchange Online using the Windows PowerShell. Okay, so we're going to now connect to Exchange Online using the connect-exchange online PowerShell.
Yeah.
So once you run this command, you're going to get a prompt just like you see on my screen to connect to Exchange Online.
So it seems that we are now connected to the Exchange Online right now.
Yes,
so what the
correct.
next thing we're doing now?
So firstly, we're going to get a list of all the mailboxes that we have within our Office 365 tenant. So we're going to simply run this command, which is the get-mailbox. So as you can see from the output, I have 5 mailboxes within my Office 365 tenant. I also have a shared mailbox, which is called Shared 1. And the rest are just user mailboxes.
Then I have a question for her about that. So what is the difference between user mailbox and shared mailbox? Maybe you want to share some light on that.
Okay, so for user mailboxes, you would have to sign in with a username and password to actually access the mailbox. Yeah. And you will need to have a license assigned to that mailbox. Yeah. But for shared mailboxes, you do not administer the shared mailbox by signing in with that username, then the password, because shared mailbox doesn't really have password.
Yeah.
So for you to be able to access a shared mailbox, you will need to be a normal user that has an Exchange Online license assigned to your account and a mailbox provisioned in Office 365.
Oh, great. I think that's fine. Then another thing about shared mailbox again is that, I think you can also set some permission, send us permission on behalf of whichever that is actually accessing the shared mailbox, right?
Exactly. So we'll be looking into setting the permissions using PowerShell as we proceed into this module. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to get the size of each of these mailboxes that users have consumed. If you can see, as you can see on my PowerShell screen, I have the total storage for the mailbox provision for these users. But this doesn't mean that this is the total storage that these users have consumed. So for us to be able to determine the amount of mailbox storage that has been consumed by this user, we will need to run a different command, which I'm going to be initiating shortly. So we're going to be running the get-mailbox statistics.
Yeah, so that's going to enable us to have like a better understanding on how mailboxes are being consumed, right?
Yes, so it's going to tell you this user has made use of 5 gig or this user has made use of 10 gig. Yeah, so you know the users that their mailbox is almost full or the user that have very, very little data in their mailbox.
Then I have a question on that. I know that from experience, you can actually set some limitations that, okay, at the moment when you are using like 60% or 70% of your total mailbox size, you should give you some alerts and,
Oh yes, we call that the prohibit send or receive.
Yeah.
So I can provision 100 gig for a user. and I want the user to be alerted when the mailbox has gotten filled up to 60 gig. So I'm going to set what we call the prohibit send receive size on that particular mailbox. So once it gets to that amount that I have set on that mailbox, the user will get a warning that mailbox is almost full.
All right, so I think on this case it's pretty clear. When you understand how you can actually use the user mailbox statistics, then you can actually decide if a user is actually like he consumed the mailbox like unnecessarily. You can set those prohibited send and receive, just to like have some total control over user mailbox. I think that's fine enough. Then, do you have anything to say about this, or should we move to the next thing?
Yeah, we can proceed to the next one. All right. So next, we're going to be looking at how to add additional email addresses to users. Okay. We call it the secondary like SMTP address. Yes. So I, as a user, I have a user email that is flora@frosty01.onmicrosoft.com. I might decide to say, oh, I got married, I want to change my name. And my new email address, I want it to carry my new surname. So you will need to add an additional email address for me, or you can either change my primary SMTP address, as the case may be. So for us to be able to add additional email address, we're going to run this command that says set-mailbox. So in my case, I'm going to be running this command against my account. So my email address is this, as you can see on the screen. And I'm going to be adding this and also this
as the secondary
SMTP address. So let me just add a little character to differentiate it. So take, for example, I'm going to be running this. So all I have to do is press enter. So let's see if we get a success or an error.
Okay, well, that's fine. I think we didn't get an error, which means that it has, run fast. Maybe can we get like the details of this particular mailbox and see if it has been added to the SMTP address? Is that possible?
Yes, we can.
I think it's just by running get mailbox identity pipeline FL.
So we're going to run this get-mailbox. So normally within Windows PowerShell, you do not really necessarily have to cram a command. So if you type this, let's say get-MA, you press the tab key. It auto completes it for you. So I put an hyphen. Even if I don't know what to run next, I put the hyphen and I keep pressing tab. I get different examples.
Tabs,
Take for example, I need to put an identity and I just passed it. For me to go back, I use the shift key and the tab key. It takes me one step backwards.
I just learned a new thing now. Thank you for that.
So what we need to do now is add the email address for the user that we need to get the details about. So we're going to put a pipe
and put FL. Then properties.
Yes, and properties, or we can make use of select.
That's another way. You can customize it in any way. That's fine.
You might not know the exact email the variable that is being called. So usually, what I do, I put an asterisk and put email. So anything that has email in between that is an attribute of this user would be populated.
That makes sense.
So everything has email, but all I want to do is to get email address. You see, it's not email address, it's called email addresses. So I'm going to rerun this and type email addresses, just so you know, PowerShell is not case sensitive. So I'm going to run this and press enter.
Okay, so now we have all the secondary SMTP address. Now in a situation that, let's say mistakenly you added wrong SMTP address, and you want to remove those SMTP address, can you just show us how to do that?
Okay, sure. So we're going to remove this SMTP address we just added. So I'm going to press my up arrow key twice to go back
to where we
were before. So I do not need to copy and paste. So initially, as you can see on the screen, when we wanted to add the SMTP address, we use a command that says add.
So in this case, we just use remove.
We want to remove, exactly, so we just remove. So I'm going to put remove here and press enter.
Okay, I think it's going to go. I'm very certain about that because, you know,
Yeah.
So in this case, let's try to run the get, you know, mailbox identity and try to see, you know, select the email addresses and let's just be sure that, you know, this concept address are removed.
Okay, so we're going to rerun this to get the email addresses and we'll confirm if this still exists or not. So I'll press enter. You see?
It has been removed.
Yes. So we don't have Flora Arrow 2.
Yeah.